So I come from Phoenix, Arizona. I was born there. I have an older brother, and my father is the one that got us into boxing. So basically, typical story, the little brother wants to be like the big brother. My brother's the one started boxing at 5 years old, and I started boxing at 3 years old. But, you know, my main motivation was always my brother. My brother was a tough guy. I always wanted to be like him. And basically the same thing, you know what I mean? My dad didn't want nobody taking advantage of us. He didn't want nobody picking on me or my brother. So my dad taught us both boxing. And then through the years kept going by, bro, and then it started really becoming a passion that we had for boxing. And, you know, I just loved boxing. We kept getting better and better at it. And, you know, the rest is history. We're here today.
Most definitely. And people don't know, like, Phoenix is like, it's not talked about, but it's like a rough time out there. You know what I mean?
Phoenix is basically Mexico. You know, I mean, there's good parts in Phoenix, in Arizona, Scottsdale, and you know, but where I was from, it wasn't a bad area. You know, we weren't really in the hood or in the ghetto. You know what I mean? But you know, the older you get, you know what I mean, especially the music when I was growing up to, you know, Chief Keef and all that shit. You know, you just want to be around all the hoodlums, you know, stuff like that. So, you know, it was cool in Phoenix. We made a lot of good friends over there, a lot of good people. But, you know, I think towards the end of the day, when I was getting older, you know, I felt like I just needed to move to a different spot to be more focused for myself and my career, because Phoenix is a lot of partying and a lot of out there. So, you know what I mean? If you let it consume you, that shit will take you over and there's no coming back from it. But we made the decision to go to Cali, and we were training hard in California. That's at the time my brother, he had turned, he was the youngest to turn pro in the United States in the history of the US. He turned pro at 17, but he was training in the wild card with Freddie Roach. And at this time, you know, I'd kind of stepped away from boxing because my parents were divorced. So I was with my mom, you know, for like a year. Yeah. And at that time, I was like 11 or 12 years old, and that was the longest break I ever took. So I was 170 when my dad and my brother left. And then a year later, I'm 270.
Damn.
260.
I've seen the picture. You got that big Michelin Man type.
So I blew up, bro. And then I was like, one day I was just like, man, I was going to school, and you know, I looked at myself in the mirror one day and I didn't really recognize myself, bro. I'd gained like 120 pounds. And I was like, I'm gonna hit a point of no return, or I'm gonna just be obese, and I'm gonna be mad at myself my whole life, or I could really use this to turn my life around, go to California and just try to lose weight. Turning pro wasn't even in my vision. You know what I mean? All I want to do is lose weight. But since the time, I've been boxing since 3 years old, and I got to Cali at 12, 13. So I already had 10 years boxing. So then my dad, we just went 100% into it. I turned pro at 15, and, you know, we're here now. You know, it was a tough ride, bro. It was a tough ride. You know, a lot of times, you know, I wanted to give up a lot. Right. Well, my dad and my brother, you know, they always kept faith in me, kept pushing me, and, you know, I owe everything to them. Yeah,
you got to have that good, you know, that family dynamic, especially in a world of boxing where it's so hard. You know what I mean? Like, not only the training, but it's physical. Like, you got to take punches, give punches. Everybody want to throw a punch. Not everybody want to receive that punch. So when you in this game, you got to come with both. Yeah. So having that brother, having that dad around you is very monumental. And like I said, you said you was in Phoenix. I lived there too at one point in time, and it's not no joke. When I was there, I was going back and forth from Nogales. If you know, you know. Nogales, I didn't go too much detail, but if you know, you know. You know what I'm saying? So I had to change my life around too, and I found my focus in basketball. And I had people around me that helped me. So I know that feeling of, I got me something. Yeah. You know what I mean? Oh, I got me something I could change my life with. It made me get in shape. It gave me a purpose, but now I can really do something with this. So when did it lock in? Like, okay, I changed my life. I losing weight. Now I can really do something with this. So it really got into my mind that I could be a world champion when I was like 14 years old. Because I was in there. The funny thing about this too is I feel like I had to fight more for my respect than other people. Because I was always fat. People would always clown on me. Right. But after I'd get in the ring, beat that ass, nobody be talking shit. Facts. So the first day I went into wild card, my dad and my brother, they'd always brag about me because they knew how good I was, but I was just fat. And they'd tell everybody, my dad told people, like, yeah, so you think Jose is good? He's like, I got another one coming from Arizona. That's the real one that's going to be really good. All right. And then I get there, like, that's the kid you guys are talking about, this fat little kid right here. So then I'd always hear that, bros, and that shit would get me so mad because, bro, I didn't get no respect. I'd spent my whole life boxing. So then the only way I could get respect is beat the shit out of these people. So I was 14 years old. I was sparring grown men. I mean, the first guy I sparred in California, he was like 30 years old, and he was like 220, but fucking straight muscle. I'm like, man, I mean, he might be buff, but he ain't shit. And I'm going to show you guys right now. Beat the shit
of them. So I was just beating, you know, I was beating everybody up from like the top amateurs to like the professionals. And then one day I got the opportunity to spar with Kelly Pavlik. And at the time he was a good champion.
Oh, yeah.
And he was a really good champion. And I sparred with him. I was 15 years old. And I was scared, to be honest with you, because he was a world champion, you know, and this was my first big sparring. But I told my dad's always been crazy. He's like, I don't give a fuck, you're gonna go in there sparring.
Yeah, I wish your dad was here. I didn't see the videos.
And then I'm like, well, if my dad has faith in me, well, then he must know what he's talking about. I don't think my dad's gonna send me in there to get killed.
Right.
But if I would have let myself get killed, I would have got killed. But it's just that I always had that fire in me.
Right.
So I got in there with Kelly Pavlik, and you know, we had a great sparring session. Even there's a video of Kelly Pavlik talking about me after the sparring session. He was like, "Man, this kid's gonna be a world champion after."
Wow.
And when he gets older, and then after then, my confidence just started growing. I went to Golovkin, or I went to Big Bear, and I sparred Gennady Golovkin. This was before he was known in the U.S. Triple G.
Historical.
And we had great sparring sessions. I sparred him when I was 15 years old, and then they liked me so much, they kept inviting me up. I was his main sparring partner. I sparred with him for years. And then just beating everybody up, bro. And that's where it got into my mind, like, man, I could really become world champion.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, bro, I didn't know how to do nothing else. I'm like, bro, this is the only thing I got.
Right.
So I'm not trying to go. I dropped out of school twice. I wasn't trying to get a job. So I'm like, okay, bro, my dad has supported me 100%. So I'm gonna put 100% into it. And I'm not gonna lie, it was the first time I talked about this when I was, so my career kept going.
Yeah.
When I was 19 years old. So imagine, bro, for you to win a world champion at 20 years old, that's really young.
Extremely.
I think the only other one that did that before was Mike Tyson.
Right.
So it's only like the least, Mike Tyson, Mayweather, other great fighters. But when I was 19, I was coming up in the ranks. I was like 4 or 5 in the WBC, and they're talking about me fighting a world championship. And I was freaked out, bro. I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready or not. You know what I mean? And this is a lot of pressure on me. Like, I don't want to let nobody down. But it was just, just being scared, because once you get to this level, bro, it's scary.
Yeah.
And I told my dad, I'm like, bro, I want to go back to Phoenix. I want to go back home because I didn't really see my mom in a long time. Like, bro, I just want to go home. And my dad told me, he's like, you know what? I'm going to give you a choice. You want to go back to Phoenix, you're never going to come back a champion. It's like, you're going to stay there.
Right.
Your career's going to die there. I'm like, well, I'm going to just see what happens, bro. Like, I already put a lot of work into this shit. And whatever happens in my mind, I'm going to just train as hard as I can, prepare as hard as I can, and whatever happens, happens. And, that's the one thing I want to tell everybody, too, that, bro, as long as you come prepared, you put your faith in God's hands and work as hard as you can, bro, then that's just give your best into it. And then you might just accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. Yeah. That's the thing about it, that before you accomplish it, it looks scary, it looks impossible. Right. You don't know if you could accomplish it. But as long as you just stay working hard, preparing hard, and put 100% into it, and you could accomplish your dreams. And that's exactly what happened to me.
Yeah, that's a blessing, because most people run away from that. That's why you are in the position you are, because you took those leaps of faith. You faced your fears. Most people run from them. Yeah. Fear is so evil. That's the devil. Yeah. That's why it sounds so similar. There ain't a few letters off that it's right there. It look the same, right? So if you don't face those fears, you'll never go to legendary status. I've been watching this show on Netflix, Vikings, and all they was going for was the top every time. They didn't give a damn if they couldn't wait to die. Yeah. Let's go. But they're not, because they moving without fear. So you're going to keep winning. Yeah. And all you're doing is get these accolades every time you face your fears. Yeah, exactly. And 99% of people are never going to do that. Yeah. That's why the names you name, you're a part of them. Yeah. Because you went through the fire. Yeah. You felt the fear. I want to go to mama. Okay, let's go. Yeah. Okay, whatever going to happen, because you believed and you went for it. And that's a blessing. Yeah. Do you feel that your destiny was for you to be out of shape so you could build that more dog in you? Like, I feel like that was a potent part of your success, that you were out of shape, that it gave you a drive and a hatred to playing with you, so you beat the dog shit out of everybody. Yeah, so that definitely was 100%. And the thing about me, why I'm always so ready, is because when I was younger, I'd have to shave the weight off, and I'd spend more time in camp than the regular person. But once I'd get in the fight, then I'd smoke them in stamina, punch output, everything. I would just outwork them and everything. So that kind of was a blessing in disguise. And it did, bro, at the end of the day, like, when I would go in there and I'd feel disrespected, that really put that anger into me. Like, I'm gonna fuck you up. Right. And that's what happened every time. But, I'm glad I had that chip on my shoulder. Right. You know what I mean? Because that's really what helped me push through to the top. Yeah, and that most people don't see, because they just go off the physical all the time. Like, if you know fighting, you know life, like, man, you can't judge nobody how they look now. Like, we were just talking about this when I first came in here. Like, I think of the movie Rambo, like he was chilling. He came through the town, leave me alone. They kept with him. And he killed everybody, sat in the woods and built a tent, and everybody was gone. This is the most Green Beret mother life. Y'all play with that man. Leave people alone. Only defend yourself if you got to. Don't be out here with people because how they look and judging them. You better move accordingly. And now you are the monster you are today. And you got size on you. Like when I'm 6'6", 230 pounds, I'm like, damn, they look a boxer this weight. So I know you ain't no regular person. So that's a blessing that you be able to adjust that. You still can use your weight to your advantage because you used to be at a certain weight. You think that's an advantage too? That
no, it definitely is an advantage. When I fight, I don't go up too much, like 15 pounds, but I think I use my size, my height, my reach. I use everything to my advantage. I feel like for you in this boxing, you got to use everything that you have to your advantage.
Have no fear, Mr. Organik is here. This is Organically Speaking. Anybody out there want to do partnership, sponsorship, clothing brand marketing, water, energy drink placement, whatever you want to be a part of Organically Speaking or Mr. Organik as a brand, hit me up at ballernothingelse@yahoo.com. That's my email, or DM me directly at Mr. Organik on Instagram. That's MR Organic with a K instead of a C, one word straight across. And we're going to get that promo game through the roof. 3,